Where do you see the energy transition? Do you think there will be huge changes?
I think there will be great decentralization of production. So the distributed energy market that we operate in will become much bigger and comparable with probably outpace the utility scale market. I think though, with decentralization of production, you will get much more centralization of control of data, and you'll need AI and other control mechanisms to be able to manage vast ecosystems of distributed production.
Yeah. So decentralization carries a lot of hope for regions where they're already struggling with electricity when they're in darkness. I was watching a whole program last week in India and in Kenya, actually, in an area where they've no light, so the children can't study in the evenings, and women are afraid because of the dark. So decentralizing of the grids will be amazing for areas that haven't had electricity.
But even in much wealthier countries, traditional grids have been built around centralized generation. When you add in renewable power, for example, you also have intermittency. You also have two-way flow. We have different tariffs at different times. So the grid management has become much more complicated than when the grids were built. And so even for countries like the UAE, you need decentralized, distributed energy production to be able to balance out or to be able to defer expensive infrastructure updates to the grid and grid maintenance.
So with that, do you think then other players will come into the market alongside the DEWAs, the FEWAs, the CEWAs? Will other players need to come into the market then to assist with this?
Yes, and I think there'll be a lot of AI-related energy management and optimization that'll be required in addition to the physical infrastructure.
Yeah, I spoke with a company recently who are wanting to come into the fold of the CEBC, and they had because there's there's a lot of mismanagement of the grid as well. And they had a fantastic AI solution that gives, full-time, management of what's happening with the grid. So you know exactly if there's going to be a falling out or what, and I was amazed that it kind of wasn't in there from the beginning. But, this grid efficiency is also super important as well going forward. I have the
We may
question.
also need regulatory updates, by the way, to help with the grid management or to permit wheeling, for example. Production in one area, wheeling to another area for use and consumption in different place. Or I think with data centers coming online, especially, there's so much energy need. There'll need to be regulatory changes to accommodate the energy production on site that's required.
Yeah, and as well then the whole sort of climate aspect of that, with the data centers needing the cooling, the amount of water that's being used and energy, etc. So that also has to be governed and managed in a climate related way, because there's no point in having AI tech for energy reduction and decarbonization, where on the other hand it's actually consuming more and emitting more CO2. So